Hey guys, this is the Story Girl. So, for today's video, also known as Gabby also, I'll just add that. Anyway, for today's video, I am going to do a riddle story. Now, a riddle story is basically just a story that's a riddle. So it's like, instead of like a few sentences of a story, it's like an actual story. And there's a riddle at the end. Anyway, today's riddle story is going to be called The Thief. Now, after you watch the video and you have any suggestions for a better story name for this story, just write down in the comments below and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Now, also make sure to check out my other video. Okay, before we get started, make sure to subscribe and leave a like on this video. For now, my subscription goal is 10, so let's make that happen. Alright, let's get started. So, my story takes place in like a normal, whatever, like town. But that's not the important part. Anyway, so there was this girl driving this car, and she was driving it to the grocery store because she needed to do some groceries. That's why people drive to the grocery store, because they need to do some groceries. Otherwise, they wouldn't drive to the grocery store. Anyway, so this girl was just driving to the grocery store. Dun, 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 dun. Boom, 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 boom. Alright. When she got to the grocery store, now this part is pretty important. It's like the main, like, this is your evidence. This is your evidence. Alright, so listen very carefully. She got to the grocery store. It was evening. Like about, let's say, 6, 7, I don't know why she decided to go that late, but that's just that. Anyway, when she got to the grocery store, there were 4 people there. Alright? So listen carefully. It was evening, so there were only 4 people. Alright, so first off, there was this actress that was on her phone. She was just like texting. She's like, yeah, whatever. Just texting her like friends. She was wearing this pretty red dress. Alright, so there was this actress texting her friends that was wearing this pretty red dress. Alright, so remember that. Actress in a pretty red dress texting on her phone. And now, next person was this baker guy. This baker, because he was wearing a really puffy hat. Baker's hat. And he was sitting on a bench eating this big piece, like this bagel. Eating this bagel. Sitting on the bench by the store, eating this bagel. Alright, so remember that. Actress, and then this baker guy sitting on a bench, eating a bagel. Actress on her phone in a pretty red dress, and baker guy sitting on a bench eating his bagel. Alright, so yeah, remember that. Then, there was also a few other people. There were 2 other people. So, by the baker guy just running around, there was this little, this little girl. I'm going to do a bun for her. She had this little cute bun on the head. Right? She was just running around, just like playing around. But her parents were nowhere in sight. She was just alone. So that was pretty weird, but really. Okay, there's the little girl. And she had this little doll. She was playing with this little doll and running around. So she has her little doll right here. There, so there's a little girl running around with her little doll. Which, I don't know. Anyway, There was also one more person. Walking by the store, back and forth, was this blind guy. Right? So he was just walking along the store, and the girl realized that he walked back and forth along the store a lot of times. Like, when she arrived, she realized that he had just walked past the store, and then he came back. So the guy was holding, the blind guy was holding two things. Number one, he was holding a walking stick. And number two, he was holding a book in the other hand. From the library, from the city's library. Now, yeah, so remember, there was the actress texting on her phone in her pretty red dress. There was the baker guy eating a bagel, sitting on a bench. There was a girl playing with a doll and running around. There was a blind guy with a walking stick carrying a book. Alright? So, in all of that, from all of that commotion, the girl just, like, she was paying attention to, like, so much to those people and the actress, because the actress had just been in her favorite film, that she forgot the keys in the ignition when she went to the store. She just left them there in the ignition. She put on the brakes and everything, but she left the keys in the ignition. So, she went to the store, and she went shopping for some tomatoes and some bread and some candy, you know, some candy. And anyway, when she got back, when she went out of the store, her car was gone. Dun, 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 dun. Also, when she looked around, because she was going to ask one of the people that were there, like, where's my car? The little girl is gone, the blind guy was gone, the actress is gone, and the baker was gone. And they were all gone. And her car was gone. So, now the question is, who took her car? Now, that is the riddle part. Alright, so let's get started. So I'm gonna review our suspects, alright? So you guys can think this over. Alright? When you got your answer, make sure to write it down in the comments below. When you think you got your answer. Alright, so as you guys recall, the first suspect was the actress who was wearing a red dress and on her phone. Remember that, you guys? She was texting on her phone. She was wearing a red dress. So there's her phone, her red dress. And so let's see. If you guys think she stole the car, write down in the comments. Write down the actress. I think the actress stole the car. So, suspect number 1. Actress. And remember, this was the actress that was starring in that girl's favorite film, so that's why the girl got so distracted and forgot the keys in the ignition. Okay. There. Now, the second person is, as you guys remember, the baker. Wow, that is a fat face for the baker. There, that's a better face. The baker. Now, the baker was just sitting on a bench and eating his, bagel, as you guys remember. So now, let's see. If you guys think that the baker stole the car, write down in the comments below. So, yeah. The baker is next. So far, this is suspect number 2, and we have 4 suspects. Well, actually, one of the suspects, the little girl, is, I don't know, she probably couldn't steal the car because, she's, a few years old. But, she could just be pretending to be a kid. Anyway, back to the baker. So the baker was eating his piece of bread and sitting on a bench. So if you guys think that the baker stole the car, then write down in the comments. So actress suspect 1, baker suspect 2. And now suspect 3 is the little girl. And like I said before, she's a little girl, but you know, kids can always be suspicious, so she could have done it. I mean, think about it. She could have done it. I mean, she could have just been pretending to be a kid, but I don't know. Whatever you guys think. Okay, so suspect 3 is the little girl. Suspect 3, little girl. And as we recall, the little girl is playing with her doll and running around by the store. As we remember. So let me draw her little doll. Alright. So that would be suspect number 3. And now if you guys think it's the little girl, write down in the comments that you guys think it's the little girl that did it. Although I wouldn't say it's the little girl, because, you know, I'm just putting her as a suspect, but I don't think she really passes as a suspect, because how would she be able to steal a car? Like, that's not really, like, she can't even drive. Anyway, so she is suspect number 3. I mean, if you guys think she stole the car, then just write down in the comments. Anyway, now, suspect number 4 is the blind guy. And as we all remember, the blind guy was just walking back and forth along the store. And he was walking with a walking stick. And carrying a book. Alright, so that, if you guys think it's the blind guy, then write in the comments that it's the blind guy, that you guys think it's the blind guy that stole the book. Alright, so that would be suspect, like blind. Actually, he's blind, so he can't have eyes. Like, I'm going to close his eyes. There. Blind guy, suspect number 4. Alright, so, blind guy, suspect number 4. The little girl, which could have been an adult, she could have been disguising herself as an adult. I mean, for those that, believe in epic disguises. So, suspect number 3 is the girl. Suspect number 2 is the baker, and suspect number 1 is the actress. So, now, this is your last chance to write in the comments who do you think it was. And I will reveal it to you in a sec and explain everything to you, alright? Like, the whole answer, like why the other people aren't the culprits. Alright, so, who stole the car? Last 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3, and the person that stole the car is, in fact, the... believe it or not, baker. Now, I know you guys might be saying, like, what? Why isn't it the blind guy who was carrying a book? I mean, he was carrying a book. He's blind. How can he be carrying a book? But it turns out it is actually the baker. Suspect, which is suspect number 2. So if you guys wrote baker, good job. Good job for figuring out the riddle. Now, to not leave you guys confused on this video, I'll explain everything. Alright. So, let's go from suspect number 1. The actress couldn't have done it because, well, she's an actress. So, she already has millions of cars. And as you guys remember, the girl saw her in in her favorite movie. So, obviously, the actress is pretty famous. So, she doesn't need any cars. She already has, like, a lot. So, exactly. And why would she get herself, like, why would she start being a thief? Like, she could get herself arrested and stuff, destroy her career that way. So, it's not the actress. Not actress. Alright. Now, since we already know that the baker is suspect number 2, well, I'll just tell you how the baker is actually, I'll just go on to the next suspects, and then I'll explain how the baker is. Okay. Anyway, the suspect number 3, the blind guy, the girl, actually. The girl. So, the girl can't be the bad guy, because she doesn't know how to drive, so it can't be the girl. But I don't think you guys fell for the girl, because obviously she couldn't have, like, driven the car. So, you know, she can't drive a car. So, and she was playing with a doll, so that means she must have been probably, like, really young. She's obviously not a teenager. She's, like, a little girl. So, she couldn't have driven the car. So, it's not the girl. Now, this one, I'm pretty sure might have tricked some of you. Or most of you. The blind guy is suspect number 4. Now, the blind guy, well, I would have honestly probably maybe gotten tricked by this, because the blind guy, as we all remember, was carrying a book. But, so, like, if he's blind, he can't be carrying a book. But actually, he wasn't gonna read the book. He obviously couldn't read the book. But, as you guys remember, the girl didn't have any parents with her. So, actually, the blind guy is actually her dad. And he was actually bringing the book from the library to her. So, that's why it's not him. He's just a dad, and he actually is blind. He was taking the book to the little girl. So, that's why the little girl was running around the store and just waiting at the store. And that's why her parents were not there. So, it's not the blind guy. And so, now, the baker, he was eating a piece of bread and just sitting on a bench. So, but, like, since all the other suspects can't be the culprit, then the baker